This episode of MMA Nuts is brought to you by GoDaddy.com. Get a 99cent.com or transfer with code MMA99. TireBuyer.com. Save $30 off your order of $400 plus with code MMANUTS30. Benso. Get 15% off your order with code MMANUTS. Woo! Hey fans, this is MMA Nuts, episode 239.
239.
My name's Inga Weigold.
Matt Grill with MMA Show. By my fans, for my fans, we're walking the line between serious and ridiculous. What's happening, my brother from another mother?
You know, things are happening out in the world. More cop bullshit. Did you see that shit this week? The cop shit. The guy shooting the guy running away.
Oh, no.
Shooting him in the back.
No.
Insane.
I mean, yes, I did see it, but oh, no, and then throws a taser down.
I don't know.
Dirty fuck.
I find it funny that in this day and age, people are dumb enough to think they're not on camera. Right. You know?
Well, I think that's everything now. They don't realize, like, this surveillance state works both ways. Like, you surveil us, we'll surveil you.
Right.
And who's going to win? Us.
Everybody.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Get rid of the bad cops.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, I think that guy's getting tried for murder, and the question is, will he actually go to jail for it? He should.
Well, from what I've seen so far, I would say definitely shooting someone in the back is excessive use of force, and if anyone has to follow protocol, it should be the people who are in charge of law enforcement should have restraint above and beyond any normal citizen, correct?
Yes. Well, the problem is, too, if no one videotapes that, they always take the cop's word.
Of course.
Oh, he's a saint.
Well, it's not the first time somebody would have sprinkled a little crack on him, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crack. What do I got to do?
A little Dave Chappelle action.
Yeah. So, which, by the way, if you got Netflix, they got the Eddie Murphy shits back on Netflix, like Delirious and Raw. I think it was off of there for a while.
Yeah.
I watched some of that the other night. That stands the test of time.
Is that where he's wearing his patented, like, leather suits?
Yes, that's Raw. Yeah. Blue, I think. Purple, blue, whatever, yeah. That's some funny shit, man. Eddie was the man back then, I gotta say. So, you find, like, Netflix is weird, though. Like, some months they have stuff, and other months they don't, and then it's like it comes and goes. I wonder who controls that.
I don't know. That's weird. That's a good question.
And they have a lot of their own shows they're doing now. Amazon's doing their own shows.
Just got an email that said Amazon's got a free Prime music service now.
They do.
Nice. No ads, no nothing.
Yep.
Check that out later today. Sick of this fucking Pandora every 2 songs.
Yeah.
Here's a minute commercial, and it's so scary that it's like, oh, hey, are you experiencing lower back pain?
Yeah, no.
And are you based in Lombard? Like, the fuck? How do you could participate in a free survey or a study.
You know
how do you know?
You know how they know? Have you searched lower back pain doctors in Lombard on your phone?
Probably.
You think the iPhone doesn't have backdoor like tracking on shit?
Bitches.
You don't think Pandora pays Apple money to know like?
Oh, they're all. But I have all these safeguards. The problem is the telephone, the cell phone does not have said safeguards.
No.
Especially with Verizon, they put a special tracking cookie on you individually.
Ooh.
Which identifies you wherever you go.
Like a chocolate chip cookie?
Damn right. You can't get away from it.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. That's life now, and it's bullshit. Hopefully this Rand Paul character doesn't get assassinated and makes it to president. I'm just afraid. I'm afraid when anybody seems like he's going in the right direction, that fucking media will derail him, and if they don't, oh man. I want him to win. Preliminary.
Yep.
We'll see what happens.
One more thing before we get into the news. I don't know if you heard, but American Sniper, which I haven't seen, recently they've been doing some screenings across colleges and stuff around the country. One of the colleges actually stopped the potential screening because there was some outrage regarding like potential like Muslim stuff.
I thought you were gonna say like there's like masturbation epidemic.
No, and one of them happened to be my alma mater, University of Michigan, was going to postpone the screening, and now they've decided, fuck it, we're doing it anyways. What is your take on that? Is there a fine line between art and potential like? Would a movie? Have you seen American Sniper?
No.
Okay, I haven't either. But I want to watch it. You don't want to see it? You don't like Americans killing other people? I don't know if that's what it's about.
I like. I don't know.
Okay, USA.
America.
I don't know.
Fuck yeah.
I don't think that's really the movie. Isn't about that. It's like more about the Chris Kyle's life or whatever. But I mean, do you think there comes a point where art can no longer be considered like at all costs? There has to be like a line that you draw and say we can't show this.
No, art is art. You show whatever. That's
so
how
movies
I see
art, right? So they should be able to screen that if they want, and if you don't want to.
What was the objection for not showing it?
Because I mean, obviously it's very patriotic, and of course, it's killing
But isn't that just promotion to get people to want to enlist anyway?
Right, but it wasn't from the American-based Americans. It was from the people from other countries that live in the U.S. or have heritage from other. I think there was concern about potential heat and arguing and.
It's a fucking movie. Either go see it or don't. Make a choice.
That's what I say.
Right?
I find it weird.
It is weird.
It seems there's a lot of tension in the country.
It's
cops are killing people. Movies are killing people.
Everybody's becoming a big fat pussy.
They're fucking with us with our food and our vaccines.
Yes. Don't get me started.
The bees are dying.
Yes, everything's going to hell in a handbag. The market's going to crash. We're just waiting.
Marijuana's still not legal in every state.
Seriously, what's going on? I don't have Crohn's disease.
That's good. That's probably a good thing.
Anyway, should we talk some MMA before we digress? 72 minutes.
It's the middle of the day. I have lots of energy. My brain is going a million miles an hour.
You're drinking root beer.
Oh, yeah.
By the way.
Oh, this is good. It's called Not Your Father's Root Beer. It's actually beer with roots of beer, 5.9% alcohol, and it literally tastes like root beer. Now, I will tell you, if you buy a 6-pack of this, you probably aren't going to be able to drink more than one because it's kind of sweet, but it's delicious.
The picture looks like the guy's jacking off into the barrel, by the way.
He's got a little walking stick or something.
Mm-hmm.
Where's this made from? I don't even know.
Good question, Ingo.
Oh, Wisconsin. Cool. Midwest.
All right, let's hit some news. You ready?
Please.
So we have, it looks like Rampage not fighting on the UFC 186 card.
Darn.
Because of a court order. And there was some interesting responses. So I want to read from Bellator, from Rampage, and from UFC, and then get your take on it. So Bellator's response, they say, we are pleased by the judge's ruling and look forward to having Rampage fighting for Bellator again soon. Rampage's response, smart move, Bellator. Go to a small town where your company knows the judge to get a judgment to piss off your costumers. Ain't worried about nothing. Yes, he said costumers. He spelled it a little wrong. It's all good. UFC's response, UFC has been advised of the New Jersey State Court's ruling in the matter between Quentin Rampage Jackson and Bellator MMA. The UFC organization was surprised about the ruling because Mr. Jackson represented to the UFC on multiple occasions that he was free to negotiate and contract with the UFC. The UFC organization, I could speak today, organization is also surprised that Bellator sat on its alleged rights for months before taking action. And then blah, 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 they're evaluating their fight card options. So, that being said, who's to blame for all this?
I say well played, Bellator. Right?
But yeah.
They waited till right before, and we're like, oh no, you didn't. Let me be a little thorn in your side. Here's the papers that say you cannot do this.
Of course. I think that's the best way you play it, right? You wait till the last minute and like, motherfucker, and that's what makes me go into the conspiracy side of the UFC and say, did the UFC do this on purpose to Rampage so they could just fucking sideline him and tie him up in a court battle so that he's not fighting for the UFC and he's not fighting for another organization?
Maybe.
It seems curious because you would think they would be on top of any contract shit. They're going to look at it. They're not just going to sign Rampage and say, oh, he's free and clear, although they try to push it onto Rampage. They try to push it onto Bellator.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, they're the ones who signed him. They're the ones who should have went through it. So in my book, it sounds like they knew what they were doing. They just want to sideline him.
Maybe. Could be. It's hard to say sometimes in these things because I think maybe we give them more credit, people in general, than they deserve. Maybe they were not as smart as we think they are.
I don't know. I think they're a little dubious.
It could be. It could be like a double power play. Like UFC was like, oh, like you said, And then Bellator is like, oh, no, you don't. And then UFC's like, haha, you played right into our plan. Our evil master plan.
Now you're fucked.
Well, I feel bad for Rampage, and I don't, because obviously, I mean, I don't know. He seems like a nice guy from when we met him, but maybe not like legally smart necessarily. So somebody in his corner or his camp should have said, hey, man, like a lawyer perhaps, which is usually good to have when you're doing contracts, right? Yep. You can't do this, man. Like, you're going to be in court. If you do this, they're going to take you to court for sure.
Yeah.
And maybe he wouldn't have done it, but there's a lot of money on the line. Apparently, he's still a huge draw.
Yeah, especially for, I think, more so for Bellator than the UFC.
Yep.
Although now this begs the question with UFC 186, that card is so weak now. As you pull him off and you're, a few weeks out from it, do you think they end up canceling it? Because then what were you saying about the refunds?
Yeah, people are getting they've already been issuing refunds. And you were saying, I thought it was only a few people, but you were saying that they said it was a lot of people trying to get money back. So I don't know. What are you going to do? I mean, it sucks because now you're back in that John Jones situation where here's a guy at the top of the card who affects the livelihood of every single fighter on that card.
UFC 151, there's the poster. Never forget.
Never happened.
Never forget.
Yeah. You know what? Do you have another one of those?
No, I just have one.
I was gonna say you should probably like frame it or something. Like keep it in, like it might be worth something one day.
All mine are tainted. I have tape all over them.
Get everyone to sign it for you. So yeah, I don't know. You think they're gonna try to replace the headliner?
Well, they have to do something. And Benson Henderson said, "You know what? I'm willing to fight anybody at 170 to save the card." Do you like this new Ben Henderson?
Sure.
It's almost like he learned from Donald Cerrone. After Cerrone beats him, he's like, hey, this is fucking bullshit. I'm going to do that to somebody else. And then he did it. He did it to Brandon Thatch.
Yeah.
Took the fight on short notice. Now I like Benson Henderson. I like these guys that are willing to fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. That's old school.
Well, maybe didn't he just recently get married? There must be a baby on the way.
There is a baby. I just read that today.
See? Motivation.
I gotta get paid.
I need some money.
It's like Donald Cerrone. I gotta get paid. I need money to go fund my expenses.
Yeah, who's available? Josh Koscheck?
Yeah. Done. Well, who would be worth an event? The question, and it was weird because Chael Sonnen, I listened to his podcast the other day, and he was talking to GSP, and he was even talking about Benson Henderson. He's like, "That's great that he wants to step up, but he's not a draw. No one wants to watch that guy fight."
Chael said this?
Oh, wow. Well, Chael says a lot of stuff, but I'd watch Benson.
What's his podcast called?
Do you remember? You're welcome.
Okay, of course. I have to check this out. I have not listened to it.
It was interesting. I just listened to the first one the other day with at GSP and the real Tommy Tohold.
Okay. Yes. What else you got?
Well, the UFC hired Jeff Novitzky to be their VP of Athlete Health and Performance. And this is a guy who used to work for the FDA, the IRS, and he's the one who investigated the likes of Barry Bonds, Belko, who else? Lance Armstrong, Roger Clemens, Jose Canseco. You can go down the line.
All totally clean athletes, by the way.
Bill Romanowski. There's
clean.
Another one. Yes. Did I say Lance Armstrong? I probably said Lance Armstrong. But, from what I've read, this guy's methods are questionable at best. And people are comparing this guy to Elliot Ness in the way that he's just going to go after anybody that's using anything and not afraid to use any methods. Right. Mm-hmm. So is this the UFC, again, going back to we must protect the brand at all costs?
Seems like they got like a pit bull.
Seriously?
Whatever.
I'm so scared. What is going to happen to the sport? Yeah, I get it. You want to get it clean, but there's two ways to go. You could go. They've just gone fucking full retard, swung the pendulum all the way out.
Sure.
What happens to the sport? I mean, it still remains to be seen because I think July is going to be the start date for all this, but I don't like where we're going.
I think you'll see a flushing out period. I think you're going to see quite a few guys pop or not fight or have strange injuries leading up to a fight that they can't make the fight or drug test before the fight. And You know, it's bound to happen at some point. I don't. You know, I think you can't have a sport like this and have it be tainted forever, right?
I don't know. I like my taint.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people do. There's a lot of fans out there who like, fuck it, let them do whatever they want. But at the end of the day, if you want to legitimize it, I think you got to do this. I don't know if this is the right guy for it, but
I don't know. It's one way to go. I just wonder if we're opening the door for maybe another Japanese organization to start up another league, like rebuild Pride.
Well, the UFC owns Pride.
Right, but another, because I thought the guy who owned Pride was talking about starting another organization in Japan. But it seems like it opens the door for it. And, and especially if these guys are going to get cut, banned, whatever's going to happen here in the United States, you can go over to another country. It doesn't fucking matter at that point.
Yeah.
I think it opens the doors. I'll go back to, I hope when all this is said and done that we get some new rules. Soccer kicks, pride stops. Get rid of all the, you can't do a 12-6 elbow. Like, loosen the rule setup then. If you're going to go so far one way, give me some more ways that fighters are going to finish the fight, because endurance is going to drop. And, a lot of people will argue, it's going to be great. It's not going to be great.
I like the 10-minute first round. That's the number one thing I want to see.
That'd be interesting. I'm totally open for something like that. And I think even when Chael and GSP were talking, they were both in agreement to do something like that, a 10-minute or a 15-minute round. Like, go back to...
Go 15 and 5?
Something like that. How the sport originally started was, like a 30-minute kind of deal, or no time limit. Obviously, you can't do no time limit anymore, but bare knuckles. I think even Rory McDonald wants to go bare knuckle and fucking headbutts and all that shit.
Oh, him and we didn't forgot to bring that up last show. Him and fucking
Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, they had a great exchange. Did you see that?
No.
Robbie said he was going to eat his children and go to Disney, eat his family, and then go to Disney World or something. Like I don't even know. Like they were just going back and forth.
Yeah.
I think they're having lots of fun with this. I think there's a mutual respect and also some showmanship involved.
Sure.
And I think as this gets closer, this is going to heat up. I'm excited for this.
Rory McDonald is developing a personality. The Canadian Psycho. Come on.
Sort of.
Kind of.
Somewhat.
He grew a mohawk or something.
I think he seems so weird in interviews and stuff, but
yeah.
I bet you in person he's a real, interesting guy to be around. Like just Jonathan Danaher. Like I bet you those guys get along real well because they're both so weird. Like they're just strange cats, man. So this is a bummer. I don't know about this guy that you mentioned.
It's gonna be. Guy digging through a garbage can finds Anderson Silva's needles. And that's another thing. Anderson Silva got his hearing postponed again. And I'm really, Joe Rogan said it multiple times on his podcast that there are some other details about Anderson Silva's failed drug tests that haven't come out yet. And I just wonder, when is that going to come out? What does that mean? Did someone walk by and kind of jack him with a needle?
The gay gene.
Oh, he's got the gays?
Yes.
He sucked one off and then tainted load.
Testosterone to the nostrils.
Way to drop the show. We were here. Now you brought us down to here.
Sorry.
We're going to come back up to here.
Okay,
though.
go for it.
Watch. Last thing I have is just there's this back and forth between Alexander Gustafsson and Rumble Johnson, where Gustafsson said that he could beat Anthony Rumble Johnson 6 out of 7 days of the week. Mm-hmm. That's curious. And then Rumble responded and said, basically, I'm big on respect in the sport, so I give it and expect it back. Some people can't handle an ass whooping like a man. You lost to John, you talk trash after. You lost to me, and you talk trash now. After showing respect at first. So this is dedicated to you from me and that 6 out of 7 days. Like I said, I need only one to end your life and career, Alex the Mauler. I never showed you any disrespect, and now you say this? That's some low-class stuff right there, if any class at all. Happy Throwback Thursday, Alex. So why is Alex being such a twat?
Oh.
What's that about?
I don't know. Must be that time of the year.
Maybe.
It's cold.
The time of the month.
They're coming out of winter. He's tired of being cold. He wants the sun to come out.
He did get embarrassed in his own country.
Well,
but you don't have to be a dick about it. Just take your loss and move on.
It happens, man. What are you gonna do?
Move right along. Bellator 136 is happening tonight. Joe Schilling fighting.
Oh, MMA.
Yes.
Interesting.
I love this little fight, a little kickboxing, fight a little MMA. Hopefully be successful
in the process.
Yeah.
It's fucking smoking. What is going on? I'm confused.
How is that good for your conditioning?
I don't know. You know what though? It's funny you bring that up because in World War II, I know that a lot of the troops smoked, but they were in some great physical condition. I think if you're in a very high level, like cardio-wise, I don't know that smoking affects you that much. I know it seems like it would, but in general, I think, of course, it's bad for you. But
so then you're going to tell me that, like, eating as much as you want, like Roy Nelson, is not going to affect you so much because he's so high level.
Dude, have you seen his cardio? He's amazing.
I don't.
He can take up eating like no other human being
ever.
I'm just saying, smoking. So, well, let me ask you this question.
Go.
Is there a difference between smoking cigarettes and smoking weed?
Weed is so much healthier for you.
Why?
But you must vaporize.
Okay.
Because then you don't get all the carcinogens from the smoking. Smoking, bad. Vaporizing, good.
Yes. Or eating, even better.
Yeah. Totally not talking from experience.
No clue.
UFC on Fox 15.
Oh, yeah.
See if we got some shenanigans happening here. This is actually, the weird thing is some people were posting, if you looked at this card on paper versus UFC 186, you'd almost think that they should be flip-flop. Like this should be the pay-per-view, and 186 should be the free card.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to grab the 8-ball as I see it calling me out over here.
8-ball. The 8-ball that predicts, not the other kind of 8-ball.
Yeah. We got to get back to keeping track. Let's start doing that again.
So this is happening April 18th, which is what, this weekend? No, next weekend.
Next weekend.
At the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey.
We're ahead of the game.
Yes.
There's a lot of solid. That main card is solid. Who else
good,
is
man.
fighting? We've got Cub Swanson, Max Holloway,
Felice Herrig,
Paige Van Zandt.
Yep.
And then the two cards or 2 fights we want to talk about. Let's see if we're all dialed in here. I hope so. All right, we got Ronaldo. Souza, he's 21-3 versus Yoel,
the soldier of God.
Romero, nice. He's 9-1. Something. They have wins. They have losses. I don't quite have all
your
those
percentage,
details.
your stats.
I don't have all the rest of the stats. We're coming back hard.
Okay, I'll give you a stat.
Go ahead.
Jacare has had like ridiculous number of finishes. I think like 15 or 16 by submission. The guy is a world beater. Is he? He's finishing motherfuckers on a regular basis. I think 6 out of 7 of his last fights he's finished. So he hasn't lost in 8 fights. Should I just keep going?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Big fan of his. I think if there's one guy at this weight division that can beat the Weidmans, would be even the Anderson Silvas would be Jacare. And
he seems to have the most well-rounded game, like in the division.
Yeah. And if it goes to the ground, you're in big trouble. I would say at this point, potentially, not even potentially, but given his finishing rate, he is the best.
The best
Jiu-jitsu guy in MMA right now. I think Damian Maia, of course, very technical, but hasn't been finishing guys lately. So I'm gonna have to say Jacare takes the #1 spot for me. When it gets to the ground, you're in big trouble.
Submit Musasi recently too.
Mm-hmm.
They fucking guillotined him.
He's crazy, man.
Jesus.
He's super strong. He's got great striking. Cardio's there. Everything's in his favor. I just don't see Yoel, who's obviously a good wrestler, really having much of an answer for him. The only thing that's a question mark for me is the power of Yoel. I don't know if he connects on. Can Jacare take a big punch? I have no clue. But I'm gonna say Jacare takes this via submission early second round. That is my prediction.
All right, fair enough.
What say you, sir?
Well, conditioning is kind of a question mark for both of these guys.
Think so?
I think more so for Romero. You see him fade more.
Mm-hmm.
He's very beefy, very thick.
Yes. But he throws everything with every punch. I think he wears himself out.
Mm-hmm.
He's just trying to kill people.
And He had a controversial win against Tim Kennedy in his last outing there, where it's kind of fucking bunk because Kennedy. This was the fight where Kennedy grabbed inside the glove and he was striking on Romero, and then Romero's kind of rocked at the end of the round, the end of the second round, and then he's sitting on the stool, and then they accidentally put too much fucking Vaseline on his eye, and then they won't take the stool out, and then McCarthy's got to wipe that off, so the guy gets the extra time to recover, and then he comes back and fucking cracks Kennedy and ends up winning, and like, oh my God. So what am I going to say after all that? Who do I like, Ingo? Tell me.
I think you like Jacare.
You're right, I do. Jacare has not shit his pants.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Has that been confirmed?
It had to be. I've seen him fight again. There's no brown stain on the man's ass.
Maybe he wears a diaper now.
I picked the man who does not shit his pants.
Yes.
Jacare, submission. Third round, I think. The question is, too, wrestling's pretty solid. Yoel's should be a little more better.
Yep.
A little more better.
A little more better. Sense. I like it.
Fuck it. I'm going for broke today.
Wow.
Deal with it. Third round submission is Jacare.
Okay.
Magic 8 Ball.
Is there a title fight on the line on this thing?
There should be. I'd say winner of that should get a title shot. Magic 8 Ball is going to take Yoel Romero. Oh, now we got an agitated dog upstairs. Awesome. It totally won't hear that on the show.
Do we need to stop for a moment while you go handle that?
I just wonder how much is coming through. She'll be fine after the tragedy has passed here. There's probably a delivery coming. It's very angry.
Your Amazon delivery?
That's right. All right, we got Lyoto.
The Dragon!
Machida, he's 22-5 versus Luke.
No name, right?
I don't know. Rockhold, he's 13-2. They got a lot of wins, not so many losses.
Yes.
So Machida, he's coming in off that 1-minute destruction over CB Dalloway. Mm-hmm. And before that, he fought Chris Weidman, and he struggled with the pressure that Weidman put on him in the first few rounds, and then by round 4 and 5, it seemed like Weidman was kind of gassing out and the tide was turning, and by the end of the 5th round, Machida is really turning it on. He said, I feel the crowd chanting for me. I'm taking their power, and he just couldn't. He was right on the cusp of KOing Chris at the end, but Chris had a hell of a chin. He's just like on the cage, just like crack, 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 makes it through, and then wins the decision.
Mm-hmm.
And now you look over at Rockhold, and he's been on a decent win streak. He had that fight against Bisping where there was an accidental headbutt in that fight, and then Bisping's like, headbutt, headbutt, headbutt. You see, I got a headbutt. And then Rockhold ends up knocking him down. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd round. And then when he's on the ground, instead of going to the head, he goes body on him. So Bisping starts covering the body, and then he locks up the guillotine on him, rolls him over. He ends up finishing it one-handed. And they had the best line ever that I want to repeat. I forgot who was announcing. He said, it's almost offensive to finish in that fashion. One-handed, I guess, on top.
Yeah,
mounting. But my challenge is here. Like, Rockhold's got that sneaky submission game, but his challenge is the defensive striking. He likes to carry his hands low, and he relies on defense of just moving back and trying to get out of the way. And if you're going to play a speed game against Machida with your hands down and moving back in a straight line, I think Machida's going to eat his lunch. 6 out of 7 days of the week, whoa, Alexander Gustafsson. But my deciding factor is that do I pick the man who is not afraid to drink his pee or another person's pee, or do I pick the man that's not afraid to juggle a tiger's testicles?
Tough call.
I take the testicle grabber.
Okay.
I pick the Luke Rockhold by some sort of a submission.
Okay.
I'm going to go 3rd round. 3rd round submission.
Is this a 5-rounder?
It should be. This is the main event? Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm taking Luke Rockhold.
I am going to go ahead and say that this is fight of the year. I think if this makes it past the first round, this is going to be one people are going to be talking about for a long time. You got two guys who are predominantly strikers.
Yeah,
they like to play the range game. You got Rockhold, who's a big kicker. He has these crazy, angles he uses.
This?
Yep. Machida likes to use the in and out game. Good counter striker. I think you're going to see a lot of technical striking and a lot of flashy stuff in the first couple of rounds. Machida will be very cautious, as he usually is. Rockhold is going to put himself in danger several times because he is a guy who likes to press the action. In a different way than Weidman does, though, because I think from what I remember about the Weidman fight, it was a lot of that wrestling pressure in your face, kind of like,
Well, that's the key to beating Machida is you have to pressure him and you have to throw multiple strike combinations. Like Shogun, remember, you fucking you gotta push him on his heels.
Like almost jam him up.
Yeah, you can't give him space like you're saying.
Rockhold doesn't do that. I think he likes to pressure with striking from. He loves his kicks and everything. So I think this is going to play in Machida's favor. This will be a cat and mouse game the first 2-3 rounds. I think Machida knocks him out in the fourth.
I can totally see that happening.
Yep. Via dramatic fashion. I think it's going to be something crazy.
Like the Vitor Belfort spinning fucking kick.
Yeah, really like the Karate Kid.
Oh, Randy Couture style.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to come up with something we've never seen before.
Ooh, that would be something. He's got that crazy video of him getting kicked in the. You see that?
No.
Machida, one of his trainings, he's got two guys lining up doing kicks on him, teeing off on him. He's crazy, man.
He drinks piss.
He does.
What are you gonna say?
The true martial artist, I think, and the reason why I like him so much too is he just has that aura of he is a true respectful guy. He's a martial artist first. He's a fighter, yes, but I mean he comes
fighter second. There's a big difference.
Yes.
Yep.
Kind of like GSP was too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have some guys in the sport who are, they seem like they carry themselves well, and they come from Machida's father. I think is still doing martial. That guy's 90 years old and looks in shape.
And it's like the complete opposite of a John Jones.
Right. Yes, exactly. So I like Machida, 4th round KO, TKO. This should be a good fight.
It should be.
Don't miss it.
We're dialed in. Magic 8-ball. Slowly. Oh, I got a defective 8-ball now. Outlook not so good. Killing the show. Lyoto Machida.
What's inside that thing anyways? Ink?
We can break it open.
No,
I'm had enough of that. I threatened that thing so many times.
Really?
About time we get replaced.
I think it would stain whatever's.
Well,
in
I'm
there.
thinking. I'm gonna guess it's toxic. It's 99% made in China. Mattel in China. Do we make anything in fucking America anymore except awesome movies?
We make
about
awesome
sniping
movies.
People from other countries.
We grow titties in America. That's what we do.
Fake ones. Feel like elbows.
And we're back.
Just like that. It's magic. We have technical difficulty and we don't give a fuck. Ask the nuts. Joseph Morales. Why the name MMANUTS?
It's like we did this already.
I feel like we've talked about this. Couldn't think of anything. Was like MMA cave, MMA something, MMA I don't know. Then one day I'm driving home from fucking Krav Maga and I see the Dunkin' Donuts and I'm like MMA Dunkin' Donuts. MMA Donuts. MMA Nuts.
You're like Homer Simpson's.
Yeah.
Donuts. Yes. Here we are.
Yeah, and there we are. Something logo, something email, something. John J. Bob, does anybody want to see Honda Housey fight anybody other than Cyborg? I'm so tired of hearing all the bullshit from the UFC about Cyborg making 135. Give us fans what we want to see. We want to see Cyborg beat that ass. Man, I know you got my back on this one. You goddamn right.
Speaking of ass,
what?
Everyone was loving that ass that you were posting up the last episode.
Which ass? The
This
one that's right
Cyborg
here. Then I'm going to throw 4 squeezes on
the juice.
And a fifth. Oh, you dirty son of a bitch.
I wonder if she could probably make a lot of money. Just be like, hey, touch my ass for $10 all day.
Could slide into a story.
If
you tell a woman she has a muscular ass and ask if she could squeeze it, or ask if you can squeeze it, or your friend can squeeze it, sometimes they say yes.
Okay.
Mental note for you fans at home. Yes, we just want to see Cyborg and Ronda Rousey. We don't want to see Ronda Rousey fight anybody else. She could possibly lose a scenario like a Matt Serra versus GSP. I don't see that happening. Would love to see it happen, but that ruins any plans of a Cyborg Ronda Rousey fucking match ever going down. But why not just catchweight it? I think that's always what we talk about, catchweight.
Mm-hmm.
All good. Eric West will close it out. So, would you rather take a liver kick from Pettis, Ronda Rousey armbar, but you can't tap for at least 5 seconds, or try to survive a barrage of strikes from a very pissed off Robbie Lawler?
Well, how long would that be?
10 seconds.
The liver kick sounds brutal. Like, would it have to be like you'd have to hold your arms
Yeah,
up?
like the Machida.
And just take it. And just
let him tee one off.
Oh Jesus. That might be my choice. I'm not sure. That sounds like a better plan than the. Definitely not number 2.
I think I want number 2.
You want her to rip your arm apart?
I want my arm in a precarious position.
You're gonna break that shit.
You're right.
5 seconds is enough time.
Actually, I'll run the gamut. I'll take all of them. Fuck it.
Okay.
If I only had like some sort of groin protection. I don't know how that fits in. But
okay.
If I only had some sort of groin protection, it might all work out in the end.
Okay. Sure.
Knowledge. So this was sent to us from Jeff Ellsbury. He posted it on our Facebook. There's this sport. We may have talked about this before, but I don't remember. Ultimate taser ball.
Ooh.
Somewhere, it's a cross between soccer and fuck faces running around with tasers. So I'll just give you
fuck? Tasers.
Yeah, like these guys are.
Are they the ones that shoot out?
Oh no, ultimate. Oh, he's got goggles on. They got special. Look at the size of that soccer ball. They're not fucking around here.
What is the point of this thing?
Just to tase people. Yak! Yak! Oh, he's down.
You could still get tased.
Oh. Yeah, you can't. They drop when they get tased.
Of course,
this is
man.
awesome.
Can that be good for you? You get tased
Oh,
all
I'm
the time?
sure it's great for your heart.
Is this a real sport?
They're doing it.
4 versus 4.
Yes. Ooh, we just
Slice your neck with my
that
taser.
style. You know what I think? 8 tasers. I think we should incorporate this in the MMA.
How so?
When the action gets stale, throw a taser in. Someone's gonna get fucked up.
That's too crazy.
But that's that. And what else is going on this weekend? On
Game
Sunday?
of Thrones and the return of Silicon Valley. But you guys should check that show out before you can. But Game of Thrones, I'm excited. I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like it's going to be a building season. I think they're going to take it slow. I don't think they're going to hit us in the face to start out.
I think they're going to face rape us right off the
so?
bat. Death. Just death.
This is supposed to be a pretty volatile season, according to if it follows the books. I haven't read the books because they're too motherfucking long. But I'm looking forward to it. Are you?
All good. Yes.
And we're taping early this week. And
probably released Friday, Sunday, Monday. I'm not sure when this is getting released. Probably today.
Today. Yes. There you go. And, so you'll have plenty of time to watch it.
Damn right.
I'll be out of town next week.
So we'll have no show
until what?
The next Monday, whenever that is. I can't do math. We're coming at you hard.
Yes. So like in 8 days, 10 days. We'll have
something like that.
Yeah. So, anything else?
No.
That's been this week's edition of MMANUTS. My name's Ingo Weigelt.
Matt Griffith.
March time.
Thanks for playing.